don't tell me. This time it was Charleston. Or the White Spring, even. Gosh, just give me a minute. I'm still not done compiling the last report. You mean you haven't heard? The super mutants didn't just hit Fort Atlas. I'm getting reports from all over. Even Foundation. Hold on. If you haven't heard, the Knight and Paladin might not have either. I've been so busy receiving the reports that anyway, you gotta let them know about this right away. I don't have many details. Appalachia's always had super mutants, and now there's just, more of them. Ever since the attack on Fort Atlas. Now we've got people coming from all over to ask the Brotherhood for help. We've got to do something about this. Oh, that shouldn't be necessary. It sounds like Foundation has things under control, and they're helping out anyone they can. They just came to share information with us. Starting that trade deal with them has worked wonders. Oh, one more thing. Foundation has been tracking nearby attacks. They think the mutants might be coming from those caverns. What are they called again? Wacky caverns? Unlikely caverns? Oh, uncanny caverns. That's right. Anyway, thanks for helping out. I've got my hands full here.
Initiate. Great to see you. Oh, man. That's a heck of a question. I think the Paladin was wrong. We're a military, more or less, right? I don't know much, but I know you gotta follow orders or it all doesn't work. Look, her heart's in the right place, but Night Shin's just plain right. I hope they can fix this. Nah. I'm still just a recruit. To be honest, nobody's really got time for us recruits right now, you know, with everything that's happened. But hey, on the upside, at least they let me stay down here instead of in the tents outside. Ad Victorium, Initiate.
Paladin Romani really knows how to take charge. They could have used more like her in the Appalachian chapter. She could have made a difference. I don't envy where you stand. One foot on land, the other on a boat setting out to sea. Do you hop on? Trust your captain to lead you right? Or stand firm on the land you know? Now, one thing's for sure. If you don't decide, your ass will be in the water before you know it. Think carefully going forward. That's all I can say.
Wait for people to die before sending out our forces? We have to act, now!
With what resources, Romani? We already lost too many to the super mutants. Send any more out, and Fort Atlas is unprotected.
It's a risk we have to take for the people of Appalachia.
You're like a broken record, but the facts still haven't changed. Do you have something to report, Initiate?
Hardy and everyone.
Romani and I were just discussing the patrol schedule.
This is far more important than a patrol. We're talking about people's lives. What do you need, Initiate?
I hope my next mission is soon.
You see, we've wasted time sitting on our thumbs already.
I didn't think this would happen so soon. If at all. Fine. We can't let the mutants run rampant. But I will lead a squad personally to track down where they're coming from.
And where do you plan to look? Spending time on a meaningless chase will leave countless homesteads unprotected against the mutants.
Then that's where we're headed.
You're splitting our forces, Shin. Isn't that exactly what you wanted to avoid?
So long as the rest of the Initiates stay here, Fort Atlas will be well defended. It takes two to create a conflict, Romani. You're gonna have to make some compromises from now on. We don't have any more time to waste. Initiate, I need you to brief Initiates Norland and Houston to come along on this mission. You're coming too.
We need to understand the past as well, or
This should be a
make the same
given,
mistakes.
but come prepared to fight mutants. We don't know how many there will be, or if the type that we've seen are the only form they come in. We may need to retreat and regroup if things get bad.
I'm not. But if this foolish mission is what it takes to prevent full-on mutiny, so be it. While you're out, I'll meet up with Initiate Dorsey to find out who around Appalachia is in need of help. Maybe there are some resources we can spare without inspiring Shin to start a riot.
I'll be checking the spreadsheets when I get back. They should be here in Fort Atlas. Keep the introduction short. We need to get to the caverns as soon as possible.
But what if she abandoned me?
I don't think your sister would do that to you. I mean, I don't have any proof, but, anyway, Max, she probably just got lost on a walk or
Throwing
something.
nukes left and right.
I'm sure she'll be back soon.
The people of Appalachia think a bomb is a
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Well, I'll I'll be around if you need anything, okay, Max?
Okay.
Oh! God! Don't sneak up on people like that. What? Night Shin? A mission? Me? This has to be a mistake. Oh my god. I thought he hated me. Are you sure he didn't send you to, discharge me or something? Me? Oh, good question. I mean, I was, helping Dr. Hardy when Dr. Hardy got recruited, and I guess he recommended me. I'm good at medical things. Really. Well, I think I am. I mean, we saved a lot of people back then, and just forget I said any of that. I don't know. Really, I'm just trying my best. Another initiate, and a great doctor. He taught me almost everything I know. I think he's been looking for a place to stay recently, to get some time away from the fort. I mean, not that he doesn't like it here or anything. Everyone needs some alone time, right? I should just stop talking. Oh, God. So, you heard that? I'm so bad at talking with children. I must have made it worse. You know Marcia? She's not an initiate, but she and Max stay with the Brotherhood. They're siblings. Apparently Marcia's been gone for a few days, and I told Max everything would be fine, but I really don't know.
I hope my next mission is soon. I'm tired of being
Right. No need to be nervous. I'm just being called in for my first ever field mission, and it's led by Night Shin, and I don't know what I'm doing, and I won't know what I'm doing in front of him. So, not only am I probably going to die, but I'll look stupid doing it, and I should stop. Yeah. No need to be nervous. Nope. No reason at all.
Maybe I'll go see what Marcia's up to.
Night Shin's favorite? He's always in the barracks, doing extra push-ups and stuff. Not that I'm watching. I just... well, I'm kind of scared of him. I mean, he's kind of everything that I'm not. This can't be real. Okay, I'm gonna puke. No, wait. I have to get my gun. I've never used it, like, outside of the firing range. First time for everything, right? Okay, I'll be there. Ad Victorium?
Ad Victorium, Initiate. What can I do for you? It's not my place to give an opinion on the other recruits. I trust the judgment of Paladin Romani and Night Shin. That being said, I hope Initiate Hewson is getting the support she needs to succeed here. She's not militarily inclined. Sure, I can introduce myself. I come from Ohio. My parents worked in the government before the war. When I learned about the Brotherhood and what they're doing to preserve the world, I left home to do my part. Make up for my parents' contribution to causing this disaster, however small it was. It's a big responsibility, so I don't have time for much else. I need to be vigilant about my training if I'm going to become a knight. I'm not trying to be formal, just following basic etiquette. We are all representatives of the Brotherhood of Steel. We should conduct ourselves as such. You can count on me. I'll report there immediately.
We're really doing this, aren't we?
Knight Shin needs our attention.
Ad Victorium, Initiate. Now that everyone's here, let's go over the plan. Foundation reported super mutant attacks potentially originating from this location. We're here to determine if those claims are founded. And if so, eliminate the threat. We'll advance information. Immediately report anything you see out of place. Are we understood? Don't disrespect your fellow initiates. Initiate Houston is a skilled medic with a tireless work ethic. When you're bleeding out, you'll be happy to have her along.
You actually noticed that? Wow. Thank you, Knight.
I won't tolerate any more insults. Stay focused.
Copy.
Ready as I'll ever be.
Move out. Some regular wildlife here. Seems like the super mutants would have cleared that out. Well said. Let's keep moving forward.
Hey, look. We could take a team photo. The Fort Atlas Spelunkers, ready for action. Huh.
Stay focused, Houston. This is no time for jokes.
Initiate Norland is right. Follow his lead.
Right. Sorry. Never mind.
This appears to be a dead end. There's some gore here. I'd say the mutants have left their mark. Initiate, what's your read on this location? So it's likely there are still super mutants nearby. Good call, Initiate. Let's do a thorough sweep of the room. There may still be a way forward.
Roger. I'll take the far side.
Excellent initiative, Norland. The remaining two of you, stick together and cover this area. Be sure not to miss anything. Effective reconnaissance can mean the difference between life and death.
Right. I'll try my best. I'll be thorough, Knight, sir. Oh, watch your step! There's dynamite there. I trust you, but I figure I probably shouldn't touch that.
Huh. Someone left their shovel behind. Could prove useful.
Anything to report? We should take a cautious approach to that. One wrong move, and we could all get trapped inside. I suspect there's still more to see here. Did you find anything else? I see. In that case, I might send the others to scout ahead. Understood. Everyone, we need to cover as much ground as possible, and the threat level so far has been minimal. Initiates Norland and Houston. See if you can squeeze through that crevice and report what's on the other side. Initiate Norland, you take point. Stay in radio contact, and pull back as soon as you encounter danger. You may be eager to serve the Brotherhood, but being a good soldier is also about knowing your limits. Move out.
Roger. I'll make the Brotherhood proud, sir.
You mean all by ourselves? Okay. Got it. Yes, sir.
You'll stay with me and find a way to clear the cave-in. As their superior officer, it's my job to keep them safe. This is also Initiate Houston's first real mission outside of Fort Atlas. Her success is my responsibility. Initiate Norland is highly capable, and I trust him to handle any situation that arises. But from what we've seen so far, I don't suspect there will be significant danger. I'd look around for some kind of tool. Preferably not the destructive kind. If we're lucky, the rocks may even be loose enough to dig out by hand. Don't do anything reckless. I need all of us to get out of here in one piece. What's your position?
There's light! Noise! Smashing! Smashing!
They came flooding out. This could be bad. Those mutants must have gotten trapped inside sometime after the attacks. If this passage wraps around, Initiates Norland and Houston could be in trouble. They seem delirious. A lack of food, light, water, space. If we can, it would be safer to take them down from a distance. But protecting the other Initiates takes first priority. Don't blind yourself to the value of human life. I stand by the idea that we must make sacrifices for the greater good. But only when it's necessary. Putting Initiates Norland and Houston in danger was a preventable mistake. And I'm responsible. I made a premature assumption that the area was safe. We have to do everything we can to make sure the Initiates don't pay for it. Hold on. I'm receiving a message. We have to find them. Move out! Norland! No! This shouldn't have happened. Norland was confident. Maybe too confident. Despite my orders, he may have tried to fight. And Houston. She would have... This is my responsibility. I swore to myself I'd never let this happen again. But I'm not important right now. We have to find Initiate Houston. Back when we fought those raiders on the expedition route, when we lost Knight Connors and so many others, my decisions played a part in what happened that day. I swore to never make a mistake like that again. To never lose lives like that again. Everything I do is for the good of humanity. I want to create a safe society again, to live and work side by side, as it should be. But those ideals are for nothing if I can't protect the people who believe in me. I have to do right by them. I'm not going to try to change your mind. If my actions aren't good enough to prove my intent, that's on me to fix. And that's what I'm going to do moving forward. Initiate Houston can't be far. Search for a trail. Initiate Houston.
Wait! Don't come any closer! I triggered some kind of trap. If I move, then just get away from here. I can't let anyone else.
My armor can take the blast. Cover your head!
What? No! Don't! Knight! No. No way all of this happened because of me. I won't run away anymore. I won't. There are more mutants. We have to fight!
Don't worry about me. The power armor isn't just for show.
You're still badly injured. Without the power armor, you'd be dead. I'm so sorry.
This isn't the time for apologies. Put your training to work.
Right. You're right. I need to check your vitals.
We can't let this distract us from the mission. While Initiate Houston is busy, you need to search the area. Find out if this is truly the source of the attacks. I suspect we haven't killed our last mutants yet. You and Initiate Houston must be under a lot of stress right now. Anything can happen in the field. That's why, no matter what, We have to stay focused until the mission is over. So if something is dividing your attention, it's only right that we should discuss it. I don't know. When Initiate Houston said there was a trap, I saw Knight Connors taking the bullet for me. Maybe it was wrong to risk my life after he saved mine. But it's exactly what he would have done in this situation. He helped me understand what it meant to be brotherhood. For him, it was about protecting the people around him. I want to do more than that. To preserve the world. But that starts with us. With our team. We can't protect the world if we can't protect each other. I still have enough wits about me to act as your commanding officer. But you're right. This wound is no joke. I'm counting on you and Initiate Houston right now. We're going to complete this mission together. I'd like to say it was a calculated risk. Initiate Houston wouldn't have survived that blast without armor. I did. There's a big difference between risking one's life for a comrade and charging in head first just because you can. The latter is arrogance. The former is crucial to being part of the Brotherhood. We have to be able to trust each other. Romani broke our trust, not the other way around. I've had my doubts about her leadership since the beginning of the expedition. But I always followed orders, even when I disagreed. When Romani destroyed the transmitter, she broke the chain. She betrayed the Brotherhood. If we don't seal the rift she created, we'll fall apart. We'll cover that in the debrief.
It's my fault. Norland gave me orders and I ran away. It's my fault that he's dead.
No. This is my responsibility. I shouldn't have put you through this on your first field mission.
Thanks, Knight, but I
won't accept any argument about this. You did the best you could under the circumstances. That's all. I don't expect to earn your trust with words. I carry forward every lesson I learn into the next mission. My actions will speak for themselves. If only we had the luxury of time right now. As we should. I've been through enough battles to recognize a fatal injury. This, I'll survive. And it's better that Initiate Houston treats me here before we make the trek back to the fort. Be thorough. All this gore could easily cover up something important.
Sorry, I need to focus.
What have you found? Focus on finding something useful. You can add assets to your rock collection when you're off duty. Raise the alarm if there are any more mutants. What have you found? A Pip-Boy.
Maybe the mutants ate a Vault Dweller. Sorry. That was insensitive. I'm glad it wasn't you.
We should have Scribe Valdez determine the origin of the Pip-Boy. Maybe the mutants took up residence in a vault. Go ahead and take the Pip-Boy tour. Initiate Houston will patch me up here before we return to Fort Atlas. And we'll give Initiate Norland a proper burial. Normally, I would tell you that the pity isn't necessary. But I think camaraderie is what we need to grow stronger. I'm in good hands with Initiate Houston. I'll see you when we get back to the fort. Good work. We fought in honorable service to the Brotherhood. All of us. Ad Victoriam.
Hey, have you seen Marcia around? girl with black hair and the spirit of youthful rebellion?
Makes sense now. This is my place. My mission.
That means you haven't seen her then? Oh, drat. I was really hoping... Never mind. Just let me know if you see her. She hasn't been at Fort Atlas for a little while. Normally I wouldn't be so worried, but the truth is, she's not the only one. We've been hearing about people going missing all across Appalachia. Knight's orders. I'll prioritize it, but we really should have someone out looking for Marcia. You know what? You're right here. If you don't have another assignment from Knight Shin, then I could really use your attention on this. I'm going to run a diagnostic on this Pip-Boy. Talk to me as soon as you're available. I'm pretty worried.
The raiders, the ghouls. If anything tries to attack, we'll be ready.
What's the word from the wasteland? Are you available now to look for Marcia? She could be in trouble. She was supposed to make a trip to Foundation, but a group of initiates recently returned from there and nobody remembers seeing her.
This is my place. My mission.
I did consider that when I first heard of it. But I'd rather remain hopeful and investigate further. This is one of our own who's gone missing. Despite her resentment towards the Brotherhood, I've come to consider Marcia a friend. I know that life hasn't been easy for her at Fort Atlas, and I'd hate to think that something has happened to her. Think of it as doing a favor for me.
Does so much to teach us. I see it before.
Marcia is the eldest of the two siblings that we encountered on our journey to Appalachia. There was
Weapons at the ready.
an incident that resulted in the death of their mother. Paladin Romani decided that we should bring them along with us instead of leaving them alone.
America to rebuild America. Take the old, forge it anew.
First, start by talking to her younger brother, Max. He might have an idea where she's gone. I'm going to remain hopeful that something didn't happen to her or anyone else who's missing. If something did happen while she was in our care, let's not worry about that just yet.
Are you here to help me find my sister? Marcia Leone is her name. She's my big sister, and she looks after me since our parents are dead. Well, no. But Odessa told me she was gonna have an initiate help find my sister. You're an initiate, right? Well, the last time I saw Marcia was when she told me she was going to Foundation for some things. I think that something bad happened to her. It was just supposed to be a quick trip to Foundation, but she hasn't come back yet. I just know she would never leave me on purpose. She's the one that takes care of me since Mom died. One time, we had to leave our home because some bad guys kept coming around. We left in a hurry, and I forgot my favorite toy, an Armor Ace action figure. Marcia went back against Mom's orders to get him back for me. She said, "I'll always be there for you, Max." And she always has been. No, but when she said goodbye, she was acting really weird. She was like, "You know I'll always love you, right?" She never says stuff like that. It's usually, "Learn to behave, Max," or "Can you be quiet, Max?" Her best friend, Luis Ramirez, might know something. He's an initiate too.
Ad Victorium. How can I help you? What has Marcia done this time? It's been really hard for her to adjust to living in Fort Atlas after losing her mother. She spends most of her time worrying about taking care of Max, but none of it worrying about herself. I know that Marcia's a little rough around the edges, but that's just because she's already been through a lot in her life. She's the strongest person I know, though, and has a big heart, cares a lot about the people in her life. I'm lucky enough to be one of them. Missing? No, she's just running an errand to Foundation. Yeah, she'll be back any minute. Damn it, fine, I can't bear the thought of something happening to her. I can't be sure, but I think she may be with the Raider War Party. Abandon? No, of course not. We were talking, and I assured her that I would never let anything happen to Max. I guess I told her exactly what she needed to hear. She told me once that she stayed as long as she could for Max's sake, but being here was like an open wound for her. Yeah, I don't think it's my place to tell her story, but let's just say that she blames them, or us, for the death of her mother. Those raiders have been fighting the Brotherhood ever since we got here. I don't know what I'd do if I had to fight Marcia. Good luck, and please bring her back.
Please, tell me you found out where Marcia's gone. The Raider War Party? Oh no, that's not good at all. The Raiders are dangerous. She could get herself hurt. Or worse. I knew she was frustrated with the Brotherhood, but I never thought she would just leave. Marcia has a lot of strong feelings about what happened to her mother. Some of them fair, some of them misguided. Maybe if you get Marcia to open up to you, she'll tell you her side of the story. No, it's still important that we find her. I can't stand the idea of something happening to her. Paladin Romani will certainly feel responsible as well. As for Knight Shin, I fear what he would do if he learned about the potential intel that would be leaked to the Raiders. You read my mind. Thank you, Initiate. Do what you can to get her back. And be gentle. She's been through a lot.
We need to do something about them. I'll go. It's my fault anyway.
I know you're eager to help, but Sheena and Burke are the best there is. Anything that gives them trouble is going to be extremely dangerous.
What are you doing here? What is it?
Couldn't stay away, could you? I'm not often taken by surprise, but I'll admit, you threw me for a loop when I found out what you did for Sheena. I didn't think an uptight organization like the Brotherhood had any room for rats. Don't worry. It's a term of endearment. We're a family here. Sheena's as clever as they come, but I know her too well to let something like that live under the radar forever. Don't think it means you're one of us now. It takes more than one mutually beneficial trade to build trust.
Yeah, right. I'm not going anywhere with you.
Just like the Brotherhood to come in here and start making demands. Ever think that this is exactly the kind of behavior that made Marcia leave in the first place? Help out once and you think you're part of the team, huh? I'm afraid loyalty doesn't come that cheap.
If they've helped you in the past, though, maybe they'll help you out this time. There are some exceptions at the Brotherhood. Not many, but some.
I don't place bets on the lives of my family.
It's their lives at stake. We can't afford to be cautious. If we stand by and do nothing, then they will be dead. Sheena and Burke went to AMS headquarters to retrieve something for us and haven't returned yet.
Marcia. Damn it. Well, it wasn't my plan for you to know about this, but now that you do, I guess there's no way around it. Marcia is not going back with you. She's going after Sheena and Burke. She's been bossed around by the Brotherhood enough in her life. Why don't you do something for her for a change and help out? Nice try. As much as it kills me, I'm not stupid enough to leave things unsupervised when two of us are already missing.
I overheard some Brotherhood initiates talking about how AMS headquarters was a place of interest. It was the piece of intel I gave to Pierce and the others so that they would consider letting me join. It's my fault that they're missing. I should have tried to get more information. I'm not going back to Fort Atlas. No one gave you the right to make my life decisions for me, and the Brotherhood doesn't own me.
We don't spill blood in the war room. But if you lay a hand on her, I'll break that rule in a heartbeat. I feel better having one of us there instead of blindly trusting the Brotherhood. Make sure someone is focused on saving Sheena and Burke.
One of us? You really mean it? I'll prove to you, Pierce, that I belong here. I'll undo what I've done.
You being willing to put your life on the line for us is indication enough that you belong in this family. Bring my people back alive and in one piece.
I'll meet you at AMS. I'm not coming back with you after, though. I have a new family now. I could have handled them on my own, you know.
Scanning for hostiles.
I've never heard of them before. They seem like some sort of mercenary creeps. I don't care what they call themselves. I won't let them get in our way. Where'd you go? I've had to be the one who takes care of Max and me. I'm not used to accepting help. So, thanks. Now that that's taken care of, we should look around and see if there's any trace of Sheena or Burke. I already did a sweep of this floor before that mercenary attacked me, and didn't find anything. Let's try looking upstairs. That necklace! I know that necklace! I'd recognize that necklace anywhere. That's Burke's necklace. I've never seen them without it. My mom had a similar necklace that she always wore. Never took that thing off. I still regret not being able to retrieve it from her body. She was killed, thanks to the Brotherhood of Steel. I really don't want to talk about it right now, though. Thank you. You're right. Max and I will keep her memory alive. Maybe I can tell you about her sometime. If you want. At least we know that Burke and Sheena made it to AMS. Let's keep looking. Wait, there! I recognize them! That's one of the raiders that went with Sheena and Burke. I hope they're still okay. I'm so tired of all the blood and death. I'm tired of losing everyone that I care about. First my mother's death, and now this. Everyone from our camp was killed, except Max and me. We were told to stay out of the fight. I should have been there, though, fighting beside them. You're right. Sheena and Burke are strong. I'm sure they're here somewhere. Come on, we've got to hurry and find them. What does that note say? A note from Sheena. Can't believe they surrendered. Hopefully that means they were taken alive. The Raiders. They really are like a family. The kind that I want to be a part of. Of course, they'll always be my family. I just couldn't stand staying in that place anymore with the Brotherhood. One day, they'll understand. Hell, let's keep going. Shit, door's locked. See if you can find a way to open it.
Really? You and that little girl are the ones giving my mercs all this trouble. We Hellcats don't put up with anyone getting in the way of us or our caps. This ends now. That's all we got? Get 'em! Fine. I'll take care of you myself. What was that? Oh, found him.
Did you find out where Sheena and Burke are? I I have no idea. But that son of a bitch is gonna pay for messing with Sheena and Burke. Captured? That's good. That means they were taken alive. We need to figure out where these holding cells are. See if you can find anything else that hints toward their location. Please hurry. Did you find out where Sheena and Burke are? A basement lab? Ugh, that sure sounds creepy. They'd better not be doing any sort of experiments on the Raiders. Let's go. Sheena, Burke!
Marcia, what are you doing here? And you too. Damn, am I glad to see some friendly faces.
The Brotherhood sent their lackey to try and bring me back. I told them I refused to even consider it until we found you. They're actually not as bad as I thought. And they helped me find you. But anyway, are you two okay? You look pretty beat up.
Been better.
Good work on giving these mercenaries hell, Marcia. You'll make a great addition to the war party. So, can you get us out of here or not?
Sheena made the right choice.
Thanks, Burke. There was no way we would have made it out of there alive, and I knew Pierce wouldn't just let us go missing. My quick thinking's what kept us alive. Not everything can be won with a fight. Nothing that could be of use to us. It seems like they were doing some sort of experiments on people down here. That terminal over there might have more information.
Thank you. I won't forget this.
Fuck you. You better hope on your life that we don't get out of here.
Hey, I won't let you just leave them there! What do you want? You've got a lot of nerve talking to me. It's hard to talk about, but you've been so patient with me. I've really ever only talked about it with Ramirez, but... alright. The town that Max and I were living in with our mother was being threatened by a group of raiders. When the Brotherhood came into town, they decided to be saviors. They actually thought it would be a good idea to arm a bunch of ordinary people with high-tech weaponry. When the raiders came, they took the weapons and slaughtered our people. If we hadn't tried to fight back, my mother would still be alive. These were a different kind of raider. Ruthless, bloodthirsty, callous. The war party is like a family, banded together to fight against the Brotherhood's tyranny. Let's not get it confused. Raiders may have pulled the trigger, but the Brotherhood supplied the guns. Maybe you're right. I don't know. I'm just filled with so much anger and hurt. Sure, I'll hear what you've got to say. You, Ramirez, Odessa, you've all shown me that maybe all Brotherhood members aren't the same. But I can't just leave the war party. We're family now. Yeah, you're right about that one. Someone's gotta raise that boy to think for himself.
Marcia, no. Why would you go back to them? The Brotherhood are our enemies.
I'm not joining the Brotherhood, but I can't just abandon everyone at Fort Atlas. Their initiate helped me see that. I'm sorry. I really am. I'll never forget the way that you all accepted me into your family. I hope that one day we'll be able to see each other again, and it won't be on fighting terms. Thanks again. For everything. I'll see you back at Fort Atlas.
Go away.
Screw off.
How can I help? She has been in better spirits than I've ever seen her. I might even say that she's starting to enjoy her time here. Hey, who knows? Maybe she'll even join the Brotherhood one day. We'd be an even better organization with her in it.
These are confusing times. Don't let it distract you from your duty. Things didn't go as planned at the caverns, but we handled the situation well as a team. Good work. It's a thorn in my side, physically and figuratively. It takes twice as long to get anything done like this. On top of that, I can't maintain my regular fitness routine. I'm starting to feel like my limbs are made of wet rubber rather than flesh. The good news is that this should heal quickly. My armor took the majority of the damage. I hope we can get it back in working order before I need to get out there again. I thought Initiate Norland would serve as an example to Initiate Houston. Instead, they went in two different directions, and that proved fatal. This doesn't make up for the loss. Not even close. But I understand better now that people need to be met where they are. That applies to all the Initiates. I need to understand them before they can trust me. Yes, it's something I'll carry with me for the rest of my life. But I'll carry it with pride for what Norland gave to the Brotherhood. We all put our lives on the line by signing up. My goal is to ensure that in the end, what we've done for the world makes it worth it.
Let's play pretend. I'll be Knight Shin. This had better be important. Yeah, except when she bosses me around. But soon I'll be big like her and she won't be able to do that anymore.
I'll still be able to take you, little twerp.
No way. I'm gonna be super strong and have power armor. You won't even stand a chance.
Reporting for dude. I did all my exercises today. A promise. What? You want to know about me? Well, it's really not an interesting story. Really. I grew up in a town, and, well, we were getting attacked a lot by mutants and raiders, and that's when Dr. Hardy came along. I helped him out all I could, so when he got recruited by the Brotherhood, I guess he kind of recommended me, and here I am. What? Of course! I mean, I know I'm not very good at it. In fact, I'm really, really bad at it. But before the Brotherhood, I wasn't anything. And now, I have a home, a mission, a family, kind of. I mean, I know not many people like me, but they give me a reason to be better. To keep trying when everything is scary and bad. And maybe make things just a little less scary and bad for everyone else, too.
I thought I had seen what the Wasteland has to offer.
Whatsoever would make you think that?
This is a whole new universe.
I can't wait to tell Max about my latest patrol. He is gonna love it.
Thanks. I mean, I feel like you're way more capable than me, so
Do you need
it means
something?
a lot for you to reach out. I'm going to keep trying to be better so that other people can count on me too.
Two sets of plans, and the Initiates don't know who to report to.
Paladin Romani approved my recommendation,
can't last
so
forever.
I wouldn't be here without her. She's so confident and determined. I could never be like that, but I'd at least like to try. I really thought that Knight Shin hated me. But I respect him a lot, and I really want to be a soldier he would be proud of. I know it's my fault. Regardless of anything Knight Shin says, yes, I'm young and inexperienced, but he still died because of me. If I had only just stood and fought, then maybe... Yeah, I guess. Initiate Norland was brave. I guess I just want to be a little more like him. And it's awful that he had to give his life for me to finally realize that.
Welcome back, Initiate. I see that Marcia has returned and in brighter spirits than before. I don't know how you managed it, but great work. Did you discover anything else on your mission?
When do I get to go out and prove my worth?
AMS? Those headquarters had been a point of interest to the Brotherhood for a long time. I see Marcia was not shy in sharing our intel. Shin is going to freak when he hears of this. Very interesting research on the effects of heated ultrasight on the human body. Horrendous that they were performing these secret experiments, though. We'll learn what we can from this. Thank you. I see. I figured you'd hear more about it eventually. Try not to judge us too harshly based on the way Marcia tells it. We did the best we could in those circumstances. Too many lives had been lost. I feel for Marcia and Max. This letter is concerning. While Marcia wasn't missing, it seems that these Hellcat mercenaries and the Blue Ridge Caravan Company are both involved in the other disappearances. Please, take this to Romani as soon as you can. She'll want to hear about this. Watch your step, it's a mess up here.
I understand your frustration, Mr. Knapp. Finding everyone that has gone missing is my top priority, but we need more evidence before we can act.
Evidence? Well, what more do you need, huh? Are you saying my Cassie is a liar?
No, that's not what I'm saying at all. Initiate. Excellent timing. There's something we should discuss. Mr. Knapp here has come to us with another missing persons case.
My niece Cassie. Cassie Holloway. She paid some caravan and folk to help her travel here from out west. Sent me some letters just before she set out. Them letters arrived just fine, but she didn't. I went and spoke with them caravanners, and they tell me that my Cassie never set out with them at all. Those, Blue Mountain what's-its,
The Blue Ridge Caravan Company. Mr. Knapp's niece, Cassie.
Cassie Holloway. My sister's girl. About 20-something.
Right. Miss Holloway apparently paid the Blue Ridge Caravan Company to transport her to Appalachia. It would appear she never arrived. However, the people Mr. Knapp spoke with at Blue Ridge claim she was never a client to begin with.
Except them's damn liars. I got letters from Cassie. She spells them out plain as day. I'm traveling with Blue Ridge something or other.
Right. All caught up, Initiate? Really? This letter said they would acquire more people from Blue Ridge? Interesting. This is the first real lead we've found, and it connects directly with what Mr. Knapp is reporting. I actually had my own suspicions about the organization, but this information certainly tips the scales. I've made several attempts to contact the Blue Ridge Caravan Company in hopes of trading supplies. They turn me down. Every time. I understand that the Brotherhood can be an intimidating presence, and the West Virginia chapter didn't exactly leave behind a shining legacy, but I think we've shown we have Appalachia's safety and security at heart. Yet they remain unwilling to even speak. I find it suspicious. During our travels, we found that a caravan group was just as often a cover for slavers and raiders. The friendly guys for rolling through towns. I didn't suspect Blue Ridge of such at first. But their repeated refusal to talk, Mr. Knapp's story, and this letter are simply too much to ignore. I I imagine any shady operations they may have in play wouldn't be something so easy to stumble across. Though, it's good to know you've had some dealings with them. And maybe that'll provide a foot in the door. We need to investigate this Blue Ridge Caravan Company immediately. Well, they have an office at the west end of the Big Bend Tunnel. Initiate! I'd like you to meet me there. But try not to attract too much attention either. If they realize we're in the Brotherhood, they may clam up. That's right. Fort Atlas is secure for the time being, and with Shin out of commission, I'd like to step in and do my part. This is our strongest lead by far. The two of us need to act quickly if we hope to safely return those that went missing. Thank you, Initiate. Ad Victoriam.
Wait a second. I remember you. Ah, you're the bootlicker that were fielding questions for that angry knight fella, right? Finally decided that old Nap was worth helping out. Well, ask if you got questions. If it'll help find Cassie, that is. Oh, well, she's tough as nails and twice as sharp. The girl is like a, what do you call it, prodigy for farm work. She wrote saying she's moving to Foundation, share her knowledge and such. Sounded like a load of hooey to me, but I'd love to see her all the same. 'Cause Cassie said so herself, or at least her letters did. She called them out by name a few times, said she hired them to provide safe travel. Of course, when I went and asked them myself, they played the fool. No, sir, we deliver cargo, not people. Bunch of lying sons of... every one of them. I'm not really one for socializing. I couldn't tell you. I keep to myself and family. Like Cassie. Just get her home safe, please. She means the world to me.
Power armor. Jeez, you sure know how to make an entrance, eh, buddy? I believe I asked you to keep a low profile, Initiate... friend? Ugh, you're a little slower on the draw than I thought. It's to keep a low profile, to not draw attention. Am I getting through? I understand, but it doesn't hurt to step outside the armor now and then. But listen, I was hoping we could talk for a few minutes before we head upstairs. Let me buy you a drink. What do you say? Great. Take a seat.
Oh boy, a customer! What can I get for you? One of America's finest? Coming right up. Okay, here you go. Enjoy.
Huh. A fine choice. Salomati, my friend. Alan Connors. That's right. Dear, dear friend. The two of us were from the same unit in the National Guard. Alan had been my rock through every storm I weathered. We survived the bombs together, joined the Brotherhood together. He was more than my right hand. He was really a lifelong companion. I'd never really considered a world without him. Not just to me either. To both Valdez and Shin. He was like a big brother, even a father. He was always there for them. That's the part that gets to me. He was an important person to damn near everyone. It's what makes his absence hurt even more. Almost certainly. When we lost Alan, Shin stepped up to take on many of his responsibilities. Was on top of the grief. That must have been a lot to handle. It led him to fall back on what he knows. Rules and doctrine. He doesn't trust anyone else to help him see beyond that. Not like he trusted Alan. And because of me, because of a call I made, we all lost him. I know Shin will never forgive me for it. No, I was the commanding officer. Blame starts at the top. That's one subject the two of us agree on, even if he doesn't realize it. Thank you for hearing me out. It's an honor to pass on his story. He deserves that and so much more. That's interesting phrasing. Join. Never really thought about it that way. I was already in the National Guard, helping people, maintaining peace. That was my life. The Brotherhood didn't feel like a new organization. It felt like regrouping with my people. A return to form. Maybe some ranks and verbiage changed, but the heart of it was there. I'm not sure I even gave it a second thought. No, I don't think it's quite as simple as a bait and switch. When the founders started out, I genuinely believed they were fueled by a desire to protect people from the horrors of the old world. But time changed them. I paid too much attention to what they did and how, but lost sight of why. The people. Sometimes I think... No, I'm certain that I was selected for this mission in order to remove my perspective and influence. The Elders saw my pull and experience as a threat and knew I would never align with their goals. What better way to prevent my meddling than to send me packing on a cross-country venture? I often wonder if they ever expected me to report in at all. To make it here alive. Joke's on them, I guess. I think that's a fine idea. To whom? Thoughtful, but I can't accept. How about to you, Initiate? A harbinger of change and a force to be reckoned with. Besalamati. Now, on to business. Let's head upstairs. And remember to keep a low profile. We're just a pair of friendly traders looking for potential business.
Cool. Oh, never mind.
Out, here comes trouble. Oh, have you returned to plunge into the depths of Big Bend again?
It's Mayfield.
Well, I'm on break, sorry.
I made an appointment to speak with you.
Please, Joanna is just fine, dear. And while all this cloak and dagger hubbub is flattering, why don't we cut to the chase, Paladin Romani?
Well, that was short-lived. Okay, Joanna. It appears I underestimated you.
And if it isn't my Employee of the Month, I was wondering when we'd get the chance to chat. I've made quite a pretty penny, thanks to your help. So many pretty pennies, I think I might hold a pageant. You still trying to get that backpack, dear? Plenty of work left to be done, you know.
I'd appreciate if the job offers were saved for later. We're here on pressing business.
Okay, Paladin. Down to brass tacks, then. It's not an accident that I finally opted to meet with you, after playing hard to get for so long. We know you're interested in the folks that have gone missing. We are too. Been looking into it for a spell now. Plain and simple, I wanted to handle this internally. I didn't want news of this stirring up a panic, maybe causing the perpetrators to flee. Our clients paid us for safe transport, and we failed them. It was our responsibility to solve it discreetly. I'm sure you can appreciate that. As for deceiving Mr. Knapp, well, I dislike fibbing. But sometimes you've got to play your cards close to your chest, especially when lives are at stake.
I don't buy it. Sounds more like you were trying to prevent future clients from being scared off. It makes me wonder if this sudden cooperation isn't in the interest of helping others. Maybe you've just been caught.
I'd be offended by these accusations if it didn't weave such a fascinating story. Are you planning to sell that as a dime novel? Well, if you're wondering why my organization would choose to dodge your calls, examine the attitude with which you've started this conversation. This pseudo-authority you're flaunting is exactly the type of oppression and regulation that my free enterprise can do without. And what, pray tell, is that, darling?
We found correspondence from our suspects claiming they were acquiring people from Blue Ridge. It seems to me that your company has been transporting people in a different way than you've advertised. And involuntarily at that.
We've always been upfront and honest with this venture. The routes are dangerous, and our Brahmin sure as hell don't smell like roses. Everyone who works with us gets the straight truth. And I certainly don't take too kindly to what you're implying. I could stand here and deny your allegations every which way to Sunday. But I know you won't just take my word for it. So if you've got some hard evidence to prove my people were involved in this little scheme, show it. Otherwise, this letter of yours sounds more like we're the target, not co-conspirators. All right. That's fine by me.
Right now, the most important thing is finding everyone that has gone missing and returning them home. Being upfront with your involvement in this now will be looked upon favorably, because we're not stopping until this is solved and they are safe.
Slow down, Paladin. This is not an admission of guilt or an attempt to weasel out of responsibility. We are just as concerned about these folk as you. We're willing to cooperate, in hopes of saving lives, nothing else. And if you're hoping I'm about to spill the beans on some secret abduction scheme, you're out of luck. We have the same goals as you in this.
Honeyed words, but we should proceed. What can you tell us about the people that went missing from your caravan?
Better to just let you take a look for yourselves. Ares! Come on in here!
This guy looks like some kind of guard. Probably armed. Don't take your eye off him, Initiate. Worked with him before, have you? Just remember where these hired guns' loyalties lie. The people paying them. Don't let your guard down just yet.
You rang, boss?
Harper's Ferry, the train tunnel. Mind showing our guests the route?
Oh, crap. You really want to go back there?
That was exactly my thinking, Ares. Head on over to that tunnel and show this duo of detectives the scene of the crime. Does that sound amenable to y'all?
The train tunnel itself isn't so important, but underneath is a top-secret gas pipeline running all the way out of the region. It's a pretty discreet route. Safe too, comparatively. Except, the most recent trip. Well, the last known whereabouts of one of our caravans. They set up camp there, but come morning, the entire place was abandoned. It was a big group, maybe around 15, including our own guard.
You've lost that many people? And we're only just now hearing about this.
That's on me. I chose to keep this off the books. May be a bad call, but let's save examine in hindsight for when we've gotten to the bottom of this.
Okie dokie, I'll meet you there. It's the big fancy train tunnel, just east of Harper's Ferry.
Now, time is money, and I've burned a bottle and plant worth of caps chatting with you two. So if you don't mind, please direct any further inquiries to my masked associate.
Fine. But after reviewing the evidence, I plan to revisit Blue Ridge's involvement in this matter.
By all means. If you find something that gets us answers, we can talk till the Brahmin come home.
Harper's Ferry train tunnel. Be there or be not there. What else did you need? Hard to say. The campsite was pretty much undisturbed, just empty. Spooky stuff. Ghosts, probably. Or a ghost train. Train ghost? One of those. Tell me which one of those two things, and only those two things, it was when we get there, okay? Oh, just a little something to help me breathe. And to keep my jaw attached. You know what they say. Play with fire, get burned. Play with killer robots, get your face ripped off. Well, you heard it now. Consider it a public service announcement. Well, the last known whereabouts of one of our caravans. They set up camp there, but come morning, the entire place was abandoned. It was a big group. The train tunnel itself isn't so important. It's a pretty discreet... Oh, you know what they... What? Where? Bring snacks. Please and thank you.
You and your paladin can learn a thing or two about subterfuge, darling. She needs to work a little harder to hide that high and mighty aura of hers.
Initiate, glad you made it here safely. That Ares character is further ahead. I should mention, every instinct I have is telling me not to trust him. It seems we don't have much choice for the time being, but we'd be wise to keep an eye on him. As I mentioned before, this isn't my first time dealing with a caravan group like this. More than once, we discovered that slavers had been using the guise of a caravan to collect and transport people. Blue Ridge using a dark corner like this for their operations only raises my suspicions. I cannot overlook the similarities. All right, you take point. And guns at the ready. I spotted some feral ghouls earlier. Don't let your guard down in here, Initiate.
Well, hello there. The spot we're looking for is further in the facility. There's a trick to getting in. Give me one shake of a lamb squatch's tail to get it open. Let's see, 30 days past September, carry the 2.
Is this for real?
And Viola is just a little further ahead. Please, after you.
Fine. But don't think we aren't keeping an eye on you.
I can't blame you. I know I'm a real looker. Being back here again even gives me the creeps. And trust me, that's saying something.
Don't let your guard down in here, Initiate.
Okay, the camp's just past this door here. I'll get it open. And that's bad. Oh, that's very bad.
Speak, Ares. What's the holdup?
You're not gonna like this. Follow me. Yep, just like I thought. Let's chat. Welcome to the 9th Circle of Hell. First, the good news. It's bring your own paramilitary night, so the paladin drinks for free. Just your run-of-the-mill illegal natural gas pipeline, courtesy of the fine people at the Bish Company. A bit before the war, Bish offered to maintain this historic train tunnel out of the goodness of their cold, corporate hearts. And wouldn't you know it, they may have had an ulterior motive. The bad news is that I can't unseal that door. Here's the quick version. Clever little me locks that door by setting off a bogus gas leak alarm. But it looks like in order to lift the lockdown, you need to verify there's actually no gas leak. The door is real picky like that. We ferried a lot of people through these tunnels. Didn't want any of our former clients trying to use it. Not for business reasons or anything. We just didn't want anyone else going missing down here. Oh, I'd love to, but there's a little problem. If you'll cast your steely gaze to the left, you'll see a massive, impenetrable wall of strangler vines. To verify there's no gas leak, we need to get to the pump room. One guess where the pump room is located. Yeah, that's the tricky part. There were some engineers living down here well after the bombs fell. Looks like they lasted a few years even. Which means they had a way of fighting back the vines. Maybe start by looking for how they did that. I snooped around a bit when I first recommended the route to Joanna. There's some offices that were clearly being used as bunks for a while. Not sure what happened to them. It almost looks like they just dropped dead on the spot. That's not a bad omen, is it? I don't know. They're all over this region, though. Hard as hell to cut, and they grow like they hold a grudge. In a past life, I used to work with these pencil-pushing sociopaths in suits. Well, not at this facility, but I was in the know about their various nefarious dealings in the region. I'll just skulk here in the corner in case another way of opening this door comes to mind. Let me know if you have any luck. Try not to die a terrible death.
This sounds like a very contrived way of getting us killed. Stay sharp, Initiate. Initiate, look there, behind that gate. Seems like some kind of thrown-together lab. Do you suppose they were making something to deal with the vines? I think I see some kind of chemical on the ground there. We need to find a way to unlock this door. Well done, Initiate. That was some impressive detective work. Let's have a look at this. Aha! My hunch was right. According to the label, they made an extremely potent herbicide. Judging from this container, it looks like it's meant to be dispersed into a larger system. No sprinklers in here, so... Dear Lord. The facility's water line? I would explain the bodies out there, but... why? They must have known this would happen. No time to dwell on that. Initiate, let's look for a station where we can access the water line. This is what we need to weaken the vines. Here we go. This looks like it connects to the main water line. Let's talk next steps. I should be able to disperse the herbicide into the water line from here. I'm suspecting that the security system here won't appreciate that. Expect alarms. And the company that alarms tend to attract. Ready for a fight? Okay. Fingers crossed and guns at the ready. Let's take a look here. Okay. The chemical has started dispersing into the water systems. Damn. It's detected a foreign substance. Prepare for it to get noisy in here. Initiate, I'll need you to keep them off my back. Ad Victorium. Done. The chemical is pumping throughout the entire water system now, including a cess pipe that was for disposing of unwanted chemicals. Well, one sleazy company's environmental negligence is our gain, I suppose. Those vines should be weak enough to break through now. I, wouldn't drink the water if I were you, though. Did you hear that? That doesn't sound like a feral ghoul to me. We should watch our backs in here. Hostile robotic entity? That's troubling. Be on the lookout. I haven't lost my mind, have I? That was an Assaultron dressed up as a... sheep? Whatever it was, it's dead. And we should be able to lift the lockdown. Let's get back to that terminal. And that's that. Time to head back to Ares. If he has anything to do with all this.
Your boss looks like she's about to strangle me with one of those vines. Something happening there?
Ares? Between the feral ghouls, the strangler vines, and that insane sheep robot, I've about reached my limit with this place. And your antics. I don't know if this is some kind of trap or elaborate cover-up, but we need to get through that door and get answers. Now!
Whoa, whoa, trap? Where's this coming from? Hold on, did you say sheep robot? Like the Baba kind or the killer robot kind?
Ares, the door! Now! Please!
Okay, just give me a second. Yeesh.
Nearly there now. We're getting closer to the truth. I can feel it. I hope you're right. I'd like to believe he's innocent in all of this, but I can't lose sight of the goal. Finding the missing people like Cassie is a time-sensitive, life-or-death situation. That comes first.
Alright, let's see here. Login credentials, check. New terms of employment, yeah. Benefits enrollments expired, sure. And done. Trust me now? I'll even lead the way, so if you change your mind, it'll be easier to shoot me in the back.
Thank you for opening the door. But know that if we find anything linking you to this, you're still going to have to answer for it.
Add it to the catalog of questionable things I already have to answer for.
Seems like you've been pretty thorough. Are you ready to discuss what you've found? Excellent. I'll take what you've collected. Let me take a look at what you found. I just need a minute to review it all.
Pull out your decoder rings, kids. It's detective time.
Let's see. That's concerning. This name. I know this name. I think I've seen enough. Initiate, we should discuss our findings. Well, it seems like Cassie was indeed a part of this caravan group, but I think it'd be a good idea to step through the evidence together. I may have been assuming too much about Blue Ridge's involvement. I'd like to be on the same page, so where would you like to start? Yes. It would seem this was a routine trip, until the end. Something kept them here, and forced them to set up camp so close to home. That's right. The storm forced them to bunk down. They were an extra large group, too, with only one guard. Sitting ducks. Indeed. It looks like we have a clear account of their last moments here. That was my take as well. Based on Cassie's description and the letter you found earlier, we can assume they were these Hellcat mercenaries. The total number of people they've abducted, though, is staggering. Nearly 15 in this trip alone. Right, the manifest. One name in particular really stood out to me. Did you notice it? That's right. Dr. Blackburn. Not only was he present on multiple trips, but Cassie makes mention of him speaking with the armed strangers. Likely these Hellcat mercenaries you've dealt with. I imagine Dr. Blackburn was the one employing them. I knew the name sounded familiar. I had read it in Shin's report of your very first assignment with us. Think back, Initiate. Do you recall why Dr. Blackburn had been seeking our assistance? That's right. Dr. Blackburn was seeking assistance with his experiments. Something about curing diseases and helping people. I suspected it was too good to be true. And the evidence here certainly doesn't look promising. But could he really be kidnapping people? Indeed we do. Dr. Blackburn was hiring these Hellcat mercenaries to kidnap people from this route. It would appear they were cautious at first, but took advantage of a radstorm to steal away an entire group. An unfortunate end, but there's still hope of finding them. The only thing left is to report back our findings and determine Blackburn's location. You were an excellent partner in this, Initiate. This has been a humbling experience. I do believe we make a pretty great team. I can't blame you. My sights are entirely focused on everyone that's gone missing, but I can't just plow through everything to reach that goal. This experience has helped me see that. It's something that I know I need to improve upon, not just as leader of the Brotherhood, but as a person. And hopefully, to begin earning back your trust. Anyway, we should get back to Atlas and report what we found. If we can determine where Blackburn took this group, we may be able to track down Cassie, and perhaps countless others. I'll meet you there. Good work, Initiate. Ares, I owe you an apology. My rash behavior was unfitting of my position, and frankly, unfair to you.
Water under the bridge. All of my best friendships start with misplaced suspicion of mass kidnapping.
I will take your word for it. I am sorry either way.
If you really want to make it up to me, I've heard you guys have some killer rocket launchers to spare.
Absolutely not.
I'm glad you and the righteous paladin got the answers you sought. Well, I know that I'm glad you killed it. If it found me first, you'd be talking to a pile of diced meat right now. Or any of us. Who are you? Who is the Paladin? Who am I? Now, that's a good question. I honestly wasn't following. Something about cats and rug burn, I don't know. But it would be real swell if you found this locked safe and sound. Anything for a fellow caravaner. Be sure to stop by Big Bend now and then. We never get tired of seeing you.
Let's get back to it.
We finally have a clear picture about the abductions, and it's time to do something about it. The Hellcat Company has been abducting people. Our findings at Harper's Ferry mean that Dr. Blackburn is almost certainly involved.
I can't believe he just walked in here. He must have been at work even then. The arrogance he must have had to come here, knowing what he was doing. Unbelievable.
The question facing us now is how to find him and the people who've been taken. Lucky for us, Scribe Valdez has made a discovery of her own while we were away.
That's right. Remember the Pip-Boy you found in the Uncanny Caverns? It took a while to crack the encryption, but I've unlocked it. It came from Vault 96. I wasn't able to find anything, unfortunately. I know every vault had a purpose, though. Like Vault 76 was meant to house the best and the brightest to rebuild America. Ostensibly. Vault 96 could be anything. It took a bit of research to locate it, but it's well south of here. I'll mark it on your map. Well, we're not sure it is.
What we do know is that we have a definitive lead to follow. The super mutant threat takes priority. If we find the missing civilians in the process, so much the better. But we cannot ignore this lead either way.
Unsurprisingly, Knight Shin and I don't see eye to eye on this. Fortunately, in this case, we don't have to. I think they're connected. A vault would be a great place to hide abductees. The Pip-Boy might even have come from someone that escaped. Investigating the vault is our best lead for either mystery, and maybe an answer to both.
Then we're agreed. The vault will be your next target. Scribe Valdez will accompany you. A vault is a potential trove of exactly the kind of technology the Brotherhood is meant to catalog and secure.
I've marked Vault 96 on your map. We don't know what we're walking into, or even how we'll get in, to be honest. We'll need to be cautious. Of course. We've crossed the country on foot and fought raiders, and more. A Brotherhood scribe's life isn't all manuscripts and microscopes. We've made a good team in the past. We can handle it. Don't worry.
Scribe Valdez is a full member of the Brotherhood Initiate, and you've repeatedly proven yourself capable.
Step 1 is finding a way in. You'll take point. Based on other vaults we found crossing the country, the vault should have an emergency transponder. Once you've secured the entrance, the controls for the transponder are usually there near the main door. Activate it to give the all clear and I'll follow you in.
The Brotherhood needs you to do this. We need you to do it. It's a good plan, and I think we're all in agreement on this one. Find any evidence you can about the missing people and any connection to the super mutants. If Blackburn is there, I want him taken alive. If he really is behind the abductions, he needs to answer for his crimes. You have your orders, Initiate. Good luck. Dismissed. Greetings, soldier. Certainly. Marcia seems to be doing well. Great work on bringing her back here. I never had a chance to thank you. It's very important to me that her and her brother remain safe and here with us. It's the best way to ensure their safety.
Little late to the party, aren't you? If you're looking to loot the place, some Blood Eagles are ahead of you in line. I'd stop you, but, I think I quit. Name's Woods. Corporal Woods, Hellcat Company. Mercenaries. We got hired by this creep of a doctor to guard the place. Among other things. Promised us salvage rights here when he was done. And I don't think we're gonna collect on that. Yeah. Raider types, but more bloodthirsty, you know? You can usually deal with the crater sort. Blood Eagles, though. They enjoy the killing. Love the optimism, but my ticket's punch. I think I can go easy, knowing someone's gonna take out those Blood Eagles. make better choices than I did.
Wow, it's freezing in here. Look at all this ice. The environmental controls must be damaged. What happened here? Those are Hellcat Company uniforms, right? It looks like a massacre. Blood Eagles? What are they doing here? Looks like Paladin Romani was right. There's a link between the abductions, Blackburn, and the super mutants. We still need to figure out what. Give me a moment to look at these terminals. Oh, that's not good. The vault's on internal lockdown. I guess someone's responding to the Blood Eagle attack. If there are automated defenses still working, they'll all be active. We may be facing more than just Blood Eagles. Be careful. Let's get moving. I'll follow your lead. What can I help you with, Initiate? Our first priority is finding any clues about the missing people and what's been going on here. Anything else can wait. Too soon to say. It depends on if we can access any of the vault's control systems. Locked. Must be the security lockdown. Let me try something. Got it. I was able to use the Pip-Boy's protocols to get the doors open, but it fried the circuits. If we run into any more locked doors, we're gonna need another way through.
It seems I have an excess of visitors today. Ah, yes. The one I met at Fort Atlas. I did hope we would meet again under more convivial circumstances. These are not they, unfortunately. I have no quarrel with the Brotherhood, but I must ask you to leave immediately. Please leave me be. I cannot be responsible for what may happen if you remain.
I guess we found Dr. Blackburn. Looks like most of this place is locked off. We need to search everywhere, but our options are limited right now. I think that door labeled mainframe is stuck open, though. Let's start there.
This vault was a biological research facility originally. A small team of geniuses. Perhaps it is fitting that I found this place. I have been honest about my purpose, after a fashion, but less than forthcoming about its nature. Your persistent refusal to depart is a distraction I do not need. Please, I am asking you again. Leave this place and do not return. There is nothing for you here but sorrow. Whatever you think you will accomplish here, I promise you that you will not.
Why would he electrocute and irradiate his specimens? What was he hoping to learn? This seems insane.
Is that you, Basher? Wow, you're an even worse liar than I am. Wait, that voice. I know who you are. Oh, you're the one I talked to back at Fort Atlas.
You know her?
Listen, we're in a bad way here. Cut off from the rest of our people and the damn robots keep coming in waves. We need help. Hardy har har. Let's get serious and make it quick. I can help you and you can help me. I've been trying to get us out of here since we've been locked in. I just found this vault security key card. Should open all the doors in this place. You help us, and it's yours. I told you I just found it, dummy. I was about to try it out right when I heard you walk up. Valdez, you got someone else out there? Should I be jealous?
I don't think we've got much choice. We're going to need that key card to bypass the rest of the security doors.
Nothing. Same as stopping you from shooting us if we let you in. We don't need more trouble. We just want to get out of here. Help us hold off the bots and we'll leave peacefully. For you, anyway. No promises if someone else tries to stop us. I've got injured in here. Okay, maybe I'm no sweet little orphan, but I actually like some of these idiots. I don't want to just leave them for dead. Come on, I can hear more coming. We got a deal? Now we're talking. Give me a sec to get the door open.
Good thing Shin's not here. I don't think he'd agree to this.
No shooting, boys. They're on our side. Crap, here they come again.
Damn. Good thing you showed up when you did. Looks like I was right about you. Shame we keep meeting under these circumstances. We could get into some real trouble. Can't believe the Brotherhood bailed us out. Well, a deal's a deal. Key card's yours.
I want some shit, and I want to never see another robot.
As always with you. Alright, I guess I owe you that much. What's up? Yeah, well, turns out you don't know me all that well. I've been running this gang for ages. I like the excitement. Don't act like you've got no blood on your hands. You ain't better than me.
Get out of here. I'm going someplace warm.
Duh, we're looting the joint. One of our people trailed those Hellcat idiots back here. A vault's gotta be full of good stuff. Guns, bombs, food, and... Okay, this one turned out to be some kind of nightmare freak show, but can't blame us for trying.
Stop real quick.
Yeah, I figured. Them's the breaks. I'm sure they tried to kill you too. You won. It happens. What, too heartless? You don't lead a gang with feelings, man. I'll be honest. The only ones I actually liked are in here with me anyway.
Never see another robot.
Not my problem. Hey, don't look at me like that. We'd be dead if you hadn't shown up. If they're not, they soon will be. I try to get these guys here to mount a rescue, they'll ask me themselves. Ass. Get it? Ass. Can't get enough of me, can you? Yeah, banged up, but with the coast clear, we should be able to get out of here. I don't say this a lot, but thanks.
I can't believe we just got thanked by a blood eagle.
Ain't even shit worth taking here.
All yours. You got this far, so I'm guessing the way you came is clear. Thanks again. Maybe we won't even shoot you if we see you again. No promises.
You got interesting friends, Initiate. What can I help you with, Initiate? No. It appears he transferred all main system controls to the Overseer's office. It's the smart move with the Blood Eagles here. It's horrible. Deliberately exposing animals, people, to radiation, electrocuting them. It didn't look like it was meant as torture, though. It must have been to the victims. He was trying to determine something. I just don't know why.
These vessels were once filled with specimens, stocked here so that captive scientists could turn them into perversions of nature. Like West Tech, they concerned themselves only with whether they could do these things, not what benefit they might bring. At best, they made weapons. Such a pointless waste. I have turned what they left behind to better ends.
Oh my god. The smell.
I regret emptiness you find here. The things I had to do. They were necessary, but that necessity made them no more pleasant or palatable. Seeing these things, I imagine you must intend to kill me. I do not blame you for this.
We're supposed to bring him in alive. Don't forget that. No matter what we've seen here.
You're not with those others, are you? Can you get us out of here? Oh, we're locked in some weird cell, in a frozen vault, being held prisoner by some lunatic in a lab coat who experiments on us. We're peachy. How are you? Cassie Holloway. Listen, I ain't trying to be rude. I'll tell you my whole dang life story if you want.
Please?
Just get me out of here first.
Help us.
Not exactly. I think the locks are controlled remotely. The doctor guy always does something back behind the stairs there, before he comes back to grab one of us for his tests. Okay, I was gonna go for a walk, but I guess I'll stay here for now. Sorry, seriously, though. Thank you. Oh, thank God. You've got my thanks, stranger. Introductions are in order, I guess. My name's Cassie. Did I say that already? Yeah, that's me. You know Uncle Art? God, he's gotta be so worried. He might even express an emotion besides world weary. I hope he's alright.
Everything hurts.
Came in on a Blue Ridge caravan.
I feel sick.
Doc was there too. Had some people slip away in the night, but the guide said it happens. People turn back, that kind of thing. Then one night we shelter from a storm and those Hellcat goons ambush us, capture us all. Spent days in a cart or something, blindfolded,
Help us.
before they dumped me here.
Please. Help us.
Now that sounds like a fun bunch. Uncle Art mentioned them in, broad terms. Can't say I'm not glad to meet you, though. I'm not injured. Got lucky. The doc didn't do any surgery on me. That nut job was dosing me with diseases, though. Said he was testing incubation and immune response times.
I can't take it.
Weird thing is, he kept apologizing. Got a bad case of sludge lung now. But I'm holding up. Some of the others are in worse shape.
Don't let me
I think we're the last surviving ones. It used to be more. When he takes you out of the cells, you don't always come back. Hasn't been down here in a few days, though. Figured he'd got what he wanted, or someone done him in. Good timing on your part. The crappy rations he gave us last time are nearly gone.
Please?
My social calendar's wide open, as it happens. What do you want to know?
Don't let me die in here.
Well, too soon.
Don't let me die in here.
Maybe I could, but there's no way the rest will. I don't even know where we are, but I'm guessing we're not close to civilization. These folks won't make it a mile in their condition.
Is he coming back?
It's better if they stay here. When we've cleared the vault, I'll radio Fort Atlas. They can send the medics with the recovery team and get them to safety.
I can't.
Whatever Fort Atlas is, that sounds good to me. Thanks kindly.
I'll leave some food and water for you to share until help arrives.
You're a peach.
Please?
We ain't going anywhere. Hey, if you run into that crazy doctor, give him a kick for me. Alright?
We found a few defunct cryonic storage capsules and bunkers on our way out from California, but never operational. And never anything on that scale. It's no wonder this vault is frozen over. The coolant requirements must be enormous.
Though it seems futile, I ask one final time. Leave this vault and the things you have seen. You cannot change what has happened here. Leave me to this cold and lonely place.
The card doesn't work? Blackbird must have overridden the door codes. Probably guessed the looters might find a key card eventually if they had the run of the place. From here, if I had more tools, time, and some schematics, sure. Under the circumstances, we'll have to get creative. These doors are hydraulically sealed. If we can find the lines that feed to this door, we might be able to cut the pressure holding it shut. Look for a utility room nearby. This should be it. Take a look. See if you could find the lines to the Overseer's office. Nice work. You might have a future as a scribe if you want it. Let's head back. The door should be open now.
It appears neither the vault defenses nor the Blood Eagles were a match for you. Quite formidable. You can lower your weapons. It would clearly be futile for me to struggle, and I surrender willingly. Contrary to what you may think, I did not lie to you when we spoke at Fort Atlas. I did say it would be difficult for a layperson to understand. Do you believe I did this all blindly? Groping madly in the bodies of the innocent for some unknown and hallucinatory secret? With each iteration, each test conducted, I identified flaws in the virus and calculated their removal. I have no doubt in my work.
It sounds like you haven't actually tested your perfect virus.
There are steps being taken as we speak. Any miscalculations that might exist are minor and will be addressed shortly. FEV was never intended to be a source of abominations and grotesqueries. It was to be the next step in human evolution. Our refinement into something greater and better. Certainly the fools at West Tech were more obsessed with observing its failures than correcting them. But its true purpose was for good, and now it will fulfill that purpose. Because of me.
Listening to this is making me understand Shin's point of view.
What you call insanity is merely the regrettable necessity of my work. That it condemns me in your eyes, or consigns me to whatever hell may exist, is a price I pay willingly. I have ensured the future of humanity, not just in Appalachia, but the world. No cost is too high for this. Were it possible to achieve it without the suffering of innocence, I would have done so.
After seeing what you've done here, I hope hell does exist.
Despise me if you will. I took no pleasure in what had to be done. This is true. I wish it could have been avoided. It was easier and safer, for myself, if not for others, to release those failures before their metamorphosis was complete. I had work to finish, and I knew the Brotherhood was out there to deal with the errors.
Your errors tunneled into Fort Atlas and could have killed everyone!
Is that so? It seems my failures were indeed steps on the road to success. That level of coordination suggests an increase in cognitive development over the typical example. Still, I bear the Brotherhood no ill will. My apologies for that. I am sure your Brotherhood will happily interrogate me until I have no tale left to tell. I will be entirely forthcoming, though I expect you will want to conduct your inquisition within confines more amenable to the Brotherhood. As for the contents of this vault, the Brotherhood is free to collect anything they like. My work here is finished.
I don't like the sound of that.
I have no doubt that you do. As you wish. Yes, I assumed as much when you entered. Very well. Consider me arrested, if you must. I am ready to face any judgment the Brotherhood wishes to mete out. My work here is complete regardless, and it is too late for you to stop it. Simply that I have achieved my goal. The FEV is perfected, and it is too late for you to change that. My sacrifices, the terrible things I have done to accomplish this, it has been paid in full, and now salvation awaits humanity.
What? You can't do anything with it now. We've caught you. You're finished.
Have I given you any reason to believe I have not already taken the necessary action?
Okay, that's not good.
Do you think I take any pleasure or pride in that fact? Think what you will, but I am not inhuman. Had I been capable of accomplishing my goal without them, I would have done so. I am neither a sadist nor a homicidal maniac. I do not expect forgiveness. But I am certain what I have done will bear sufficient consequence without fabricating new sins to hang upon me. Ah, yes. The interrogation before my interrogations continues. Go on. Yes, consider my work. I have completed it. I turned a flawed miscreation into something that will heal an ill and wounded humanity. But if by that you mean, what have I done with the result? It is no longer here. I have associates. They are even now finalizing the mechanisms of its distribution. You are too late.
Paladin Romani needs to hear about this immediately.
Let me go. Had I committed any offense of which you could possibly have been aware? I am at your disposal, then.
You can head out. I'll radio for a team to secure the site and get the prisoners to safety. Then bring Blackburn back to the fort. I'm sure the others are going to have a lot of questions for him. Good work, Initiate. I'm glad you were here.
I have been fully compliant with your questioning. Threats are not required.
With everything you've done, you're lucky I'm only threatening you right now.
Please, this argument is getting us nowhere.
Initiate, you're back. Maybe you can help me talk some sense into Romani here. We've been going over what happened at Vault 96 and interrogating our prisoner. This smug monster is practically bragging about torture and unleashing horrors on the world. And Romani is treating him with kid gloves.
I am not bragging. What I have done was necessary. I take no pride in those terrible acts. I will have to live with the shame of them forever. That weight does not, however, diminish that the ends were worth the means. You will learn that soon enough. My colleagues will see that our creation, a vast improvement on the FEV, is distributed shortly.
Do you see? The arrogance, the self-justification. We should end him and be done with it.
That's what I said.
It's justice. You've killed people for less, and the people of Appalachia deserve an end to this madness.
They'll get it, but summary execution isn't the way. Preventing Dr. Blackburn's associates from taking this horror any further must be our priority. And we may need the doctor to convince them.
That is your goal, not mine. But I am not a soldier, and would not withstand strenuous interrogation well. No minor delay on my part will change what is to come. My colleagues are already preparing. Perhaps my cooperation will allow us to make a case for the good we are about to do, and to convince you of our cause.
Impossible. We could never support something so abominable.
My colleagues have a facility better suited to final testing and mass production of the virus. As we speak, they are preparing for its release into the air and water of Appalachia. Once dispersed, it will enter the precipitation cycle in groundwater, and then it cannot be stopped.
No, It could spread for hundreds, maybe thousands of miles.
My colleagues have a laboratory hidden beneath the headquarters of my former employer, West Tech. We intend to correct the FEV's mistakes at their birthplace. Poetically appropriate, would you not agree?
Yes. If the doctor's associates are preparing to distribute the virus, we have to put our emotions aside here and get to them before they can. Blackburn's punishment, whatever its form, can wait until Appalachia is safe. Head to West Tech. Find and secure the entrance to this lab, and we'll follow behind.
I don't like this, Romani. We should be done with him here and now and level this laboratory. This is just like what Elder Maxim faced at Mariposa. Or have you forgotten?
Elder Maxon came to regret acting rashly there. Or have you forgotten?
If they've already begun producing the virus, blowing up the place could just help spread it. We'll need to be a bit more delicate than that.
Very well. If Blackburn is coming with us, I will be watching him. Perhaps he can provide leverage against his fellow lunatics.
If I can prevent further loss of life, I will.
Then it's decided. Initiate, head for West Tech. We've no time to lose. See you there.
No need for that to go. I have not run away thus far, have I?
Enough, Shin. Let's catch up with our vanguard. Everything under control, Initiate? Let's not get overconfident.
The Hellcats were likely here to protect Blackburn's associates from the super mutants above.
Should we expect any further resistance?
I am not aware of the details of the defensive measures my colleagues may have taken. I would not, however, expect them to tolerate trespassers.
We should keep moving.
As you wish. I am your prisoner, after all. I have little choice in the matter. Dr. Farha is nominally the head of their group. Headstrong, an old university colleague. Dr. Jane was a junior scientist at West Tech. Brilliant, but easily led. He shared my disgust at the Huntersville mistake. Nellie Wright, on the other hand, is Dr. Farha's pet project. An adoptee of sorts. Very talented, despite her lack of formal schooling. Paranoia ill suits you. I have complied with your every demand.
And that is precisely what is so concerning.
A trap I conceived, prepared, and executed entirely while in your custody? You give me too much credit. Certainly.
Let's move out. Eyes open.
Edgar. Edgar, who are these people? What happened to the guards?
The guards are dead, Dr. Farha. This is the Brotherhood of Steel. I have been their guest since they discovered our project. Regrettably, they object to what we are doing.
We will not be intimidated. This facility is secured. You can't get to us. We will finish our work. Why? Because it's the frontier of science? It's the next step in our self-guided evolution as a species. Why wouldn't we do this? Hey, don't talk around me. Nellie. I am not. I've tried to mitigate the damage done, but I've let Edgar and the others talk me into justifying the means with the ends. Maybe I'm not so sure anymore. But I won't let you hurt anyone here. And our decisions are our own, not yours to make for us.
I can see you're troubled. You know what you're doing isn't right. Let's talk through this. We can come to an agreement.
I want to avoid violence. But that's always on the table, as long as you hold Dr. Blackburn hostage. Let him go. Please, let him go or we will cut off this negotiation and proceed with our plans.
I am afraid you will have to give in on this one. If you truly want to stop our distribution process, I advise you to listen to the doctor's entreaties. It is no joke at all. Allow me to explain. My colleagues could not stop production if they tried. It requires a code. I am the only one who knows the code. I set this plan in motion, and I am the only one who can stop it.
Is this true?
Edgar.
You will have to forgive Dr. Farha. She did not know. I added this functionality to our distribution program, as insurance, you might say.
Boy, that's handy, huh?
So there you have it. I am willing to help you in exchange for sparing my colleagues' lives, but you will have to let me in there with them. Then you are free to enjoy the view as my colleagues distribute our creation among the populace.
I don't like it either. But what other option do we have? If we do nothing, the outcome will be just as catastrophic.
Dr. Farha, please permit me inside as a sign of good faith from the Brotherhood. I am certain we can negotiate a peaceful resolution and perhaps preserve our work at the same time.
All right. I'm registering you for the security grid. Just you.
With your leave?
Don't make this worse.
This is a mistake.
Now that that is over with, Nellie, prep the test chamber. They want proof of our success. I will give it to them myself.
Edgar, wait!
I apologize for the deceit, but I cannot risk you undoing all we have accomplished. Soon you will understand that I was right.
Edgar, please. Let's talk about this.
You've signed your death warrant, Blackburn.
I will test the sample on myself and be proof of our achievement. Anything you do to me after does not matter. I'm going in. Ready the tag.
We should have executed him when we had the chance.
Now is not the time. We've got to find a way in quickly. There's no time to waste. We'll get through this.
Stay focused.
FEV flow ready, Doctor.
Initiate procedure. Code Ascension.
Initiating. Please. All of you, this isn't right! What's this? No. What's happening? This can't be. The figures were correct.
This is what happens when we let people play God. This proves more than anything the need for our brotherhood. The need for our justice.
The scientists are still locked upstairs. Let's hear what they have to say for themselves.
We need to get up to that lab before those scientists get away somehow.
Let's talk to Dr. Blackburn's associates. The failed formula may have changed their perspective.
Edgar, I should have known. I did know. We weren't ready. I owe you an apology. Our work was a failure. Any good it might have done was a mirage. I knew it in my heart, but didn't listen. As a token of goodwill, I have used Edgar's code to stop production. We will not distribute the virus. I will make sure of that. But I will not simply let you in. There may be little I can do to stop you, but I will defend my colleagues in what little way I can. I must admit that I am powerless before you. If our cooperation can sway you to avoid more violence, then I will let you through. The way is open. We await your judgment.
Do you really think they've stopped production? This whole sob story sounds like a trap.
We can verify that once the area is secure and send for Scribe Valdez to double check. Until then, stay on your guard.
You arrived. Please, hear me out. We are scientists. Our work is all we have to give to this broken world. We had truly hoped to give humanity a better way to fight back. Against the radiation, the mutants, the decay of civilization. We failed. But this doesn't have to be the end. There is so much good that we can still do, please. Spare us your wrath.
Why does it sound like you're giving up? We weren't that far off, just a tweak here or there.
If I may interrupt, I agree with everything Dr. Farha has to say. Despite how it looks, we are not evil people. We wish only to better humankind. Knowing that, what are your intentions with us?
Well put. The Brotherhood exists to keep humanity safe. And your work endangered everyone in Appalachia. If that failed virus had gotten out, countless people could have died. We can't allow you to continue experimenting.
Wait, Shin. It's clear that we can't just let them go. But their knowledge could be valuable to the Brotherhood and the people of Appalachia. Blackburn was the ringleader, but he's gone. We know nothing about the others, and of all people, you and I shouldn't fault anyone for trying to make a difference.
I can. And I will.
Is this still about back then? You can't forgive yourself for your own mistakes, so you refuse to forgive others too. When will you put that behind you?
This has nothing to do with that. There will be no more experiments. And they're too dangerous to keep prisoner.
Wait, you're really going to kill us?
Hold on. We're not killing anybody. We will bring them back to Fort Atlas and have Scribe Valdez monitor their work.
Have you lost your mind?
Think about it. This is exactly why the Brotherhood exists. To safeguard technology. I hate to admit it, but the Elders are right on this. We can't let them go, but we can't destroy what knowledge they have either.
A wise compromise. I'm willing to cooperate. You, the angry one. Consider the fact that universities are no longer operating. In a generation or two, there will be few, if any, people left in the world with a formal education.
How many dozens have you killed? Do you really think your life is worth more than theirs because of your education? We don't need your knowledge if you're deranged enough to resort to human experimentation.
Please! Stop this. Let us stop for a moment and talk to each other. There's still much that we haven't told you about our work. And we know little about your brotherhood. Perhaps we can find out more where our perspectives overlap.
Yes. Maybe some discussion will cool Shin's head. And no desire for this to come to blows.
Very well. You haven't said anything yet? Surely you have an opinion on this matter. By all means. We won't be going anywhere.
I urge you to reconsider. This was never meant to come to violence. I never intended to hurt anyone. Dr. Blackburn was in charge of procurement. He told us they were volunteers. It was only later that... But by then... Please understand, we were so close. It could have ended any day. And everything we did was for the greater good. We must carry forward what we learned, or all that sacrifice will have been for nothing. Dr. Farha may disagree, but I'd like to finish the FEV formula. We can implement new safety measures, animal experiments on thorough waste disposal. We were so close to improving the human race as we know it. The world has changed, my friend. How are we to survive if we don't change with it? They are good people. Dr. Farah is quite strict, but it's because she cares. About Nellie particularly. The girl is unorthodox, but you can't fault her for it. We're all born differently into this world. And about Dr. Blackburn, well, the world has lost a visionary intellect. It's a shame. A tragedy. Please don't let this work go to waste.
What questions do you have for me? Or has your party made a decision? We could focus the idea of human evolution into a more targeted formula. Say, a formula to increase muscle bulk, or to repel radiation. In fact, I hear serums of that sort may already be circulating among the survivors of the region. I'd like to study what they have created and improve upon it. It went too far. And quite frankly, I regret bringing the others onto this project. By the time I figured out that Dr. Blackburn was experimenting on humans, Ellie and Dr. Jane had already become passionate about the project. I was unable to convince them to pull back. I stayed, in the hopes that my objections could save even one innocent person from being experimented on. You're right. No excuse will make up for my mistake. That is why I hope to keep living and contribute what I can to the greater good. Dr. Blackburn and Dr. Jane were my college associates. They didn't know each other at the time. I met Nellie when she broke through my window to search for scraps, as wasteland survivors do. She was more interested in my research notes than my leftovers. So, I took her in. Taught her what I know. I'm responsible for the actions of my associates. I ask that you have mercy on them, if not me.
I heard when the Brotherhood breaks down your door, they say, "Add victory." Hand over your arms. Is that true? How so? You either say it or you don't, right? People are always saying things are complicated when they're not. Wrong. It's all wrong. We ran the models, but the models were wrong. I know exactly where to change the ratios to make this work. I can make it work. We just need one more chance. Don't run from science. Let us do this. Let us change the world. What about them? Is that any worse than being human? As Dr. Jane says, all life is sacred. You'd probably gun them down regardless, right? To improve the human race. If I was kidnapped for our experiments, I wouldn't mind. Most kidnappers do much worse. Oh, are you a licensed medical professional? Even if you are, it's pretty rude to make sudden, unwarranted diagnoses of people you just met. Okay, I guess. Janie and Farah? Well, I don't think anybody liked me before Farah, so I'm glad we're together. Janie worries too much. She's always asking, are we doing the right thing? Is this gonna work? You don't know until you try. Edgar was the most fun of all. Too bad he miscalculated. You're not really gonna kill us, are you? I'm awfully young to die. You can fit a lot of experiments into 60 more years.
Those who commit crimes against humanity must be punished. It wouldn't be right to let them run free. Not to the people they killed, and not to the people they could kill in the future. The Brotherhood of Steel must protect the future of Appalachia, and of the world. I don't see what other option there is. As I stated before, they're too dangerous to hold prisoner. So we either ignore the danger, or eradicate it. Whether I'm being dogmatic or not is irrelevant. My goal is to find a solution to a threat, and I don't see you offering any other suggestions. It hasn't been a matter of if for some time now. Only a matter of when. I'm fully prepared to uphold the integrity of the Brotherhood, in whatever way Romani makes necessary. That is none of your concern.
How long do you intend to sweep it under the rug like nothing happened? You're torturing yourself, Shin, and they deserve to know.
Maybe so. But this is neither the time nor the place for this discussion.
Shin, you owe it to yourself to admit that you made a mistake. Stop crumbling under the guilt and just accept it.
For those I failed then, and those I've failed since. For them, I have to do better. The raiders on the expedition route. Romani decided we would stay and fight them. But giving the order to distribute the weapons to the settlers there, it was my idea. I wanted to give them a chance. But I got them killed instead. The rocket launchers, the ones we found at the crater and Foundation. We had secured those weapons from a military facility with the intent of keeping them safe. Brotherhood hands only, but there was a town being attacked by raiders. I thought that equipping the townspeople would give them a better chance. It didn't work. The town was taken over, and the weapons fell into raider hands. It's my fault that happened. I vowed to never make a mistake like that again. Despite that vow, Initiate Norland still died on my watch. I can't let the past keep repeating itself. I can't give those scientists another chance to harm innocent people. The outcome is more important than the intent. What I learned from that mistake was not to let my feelings blind me. Some things are a lost cause. Some chances are too dangerous to take, as much as we may want to believe otherwise. There's nothing to get over. I acknowledge that I've made poor decisions then and now. That's why I'm making a better decision today. You have to see that keeping these criminals alive would be misguided and reckless. Then I hope you'll also take away the same lesson that I did. This is bigger than all of us. I hope you understand that.
We need to come to an agreement. I won't stand for impulsive violence. The scientists are to return to Fort Atlas with us and work alongside Scribe Valdez on a new project that we all agree upon. These are smart people. They just need to be pointed in the right direction. They could still do a lot for humanity. The methods were cruel and wrong, but no one is beyond forgiveness. What matters is what they do from today onward. Let's give them a chance to make things right. Then we must stand up for what we believe. We will not allow Shin to create a hateful brotherhood which passes judgment as it sees fit. This is human life we're talking about. Haven't enough died already? You really believe that, don't you? And the other initiates. They were trained by Shin, indoctrinated with the Elder's values. Perhaps transforming the Brotherhood is no longer possible after all. Then we must stand up. This is... I'm glad to hear you say that. Once he realizes his authority isn't respected, I suspect he'll run back to the Elders with his tail between his legs. This chapter of the Brotherhood will become what it should be, with or without Shin. I hope you can see what we need to do here. What we need to do for the Brotherhood.
What questions do you have? And what has your organization decided? Please, spare my associates. I take full responsibility for their actions.
There's no need. You're coming back to Fort Atlas with us.
No! I won't stand for your coercion any longer. Your righteous crusade has gone too far. You are no paladin of the Brotherhood. You haven't been since you destroyed that transmitter. Your reign is over. The initiative's with me. Step aside and let us do what's necessary.
I guess the Elder's grip is tighter than I can break after all. I tried to make you see reason. But after all this, you remain their lapdogs. The Brotherhood can't be changed after all. I will have to start anew elsewhere.
You're a traitor.
I'd hoped it would never come to this.
This battle belongs to the Brotherhood. One more step for our mission. If only she'd seen reason. Initiate. Carry out the sentence.
Please! We are mere scientists!
They're murderers. Make sure they can never kill again.
No! Gotta be kidding me!
It's done. Return to Fort Atlas. Then we can discuss everything that's happened. It pains me to say that Romani gave her life to defend these criminals. Her last act was not as a Brotherhood paladin, but as a person following her own misguided moral principles. Romani put her personal morals above the cornerstone of duty, time and time again. Her irresponsibility threatened to shake apart the foundation of order that allows us to be an effective force of action. But however misguided her decisions were, Romani always acted with the intent to help humanity. If we are to retain anything from her leadership, let it be that. The Brotherhood of Steel seeks to forge a lasting future. We must be humanity's strength. Strength to eliminate threats, overt and covert. Strength to keep dangerous technologies safe. Strength to make the decisions that no one else wants to make. We are humanity's rock, standing against the harsh enemies of war, disease, and time. We must not falter. Ad Victoriam! There is one more thing to address before we disband. Initiates are the future of the Brotherhood. Induction into our order is an honor that should not be taken lightly. Among an initiate's most important responsibilities is to understand and commit themselves wholly to the principles of the order. I've come to understand that one initiate will never be able to meet this goal. They have other important responsibilities in Appalachia. I've decided to grant a title that can account for this caveat, while still acknowledging their exceptional contributions to the Brotherhood. Come, stand between Scribe Valdez and I. For outstanding contributions to the Brotherhood mission as an outside party, I hereby confer on you the permanent title of Knight Errant. A unique Brotherhood title with special privileges is an acknowledgement of the highest honor. May it serve as an inspiration for the rest of you. Dismissed.
So, Paladin Romani is gone. I can't believe it. I wanted to be optimistic about their conflict, right up until the end. But the more I think about it, the more I feel like maybe this was inevitable. If only there was more I could have done. It is. But at least you and I are still here. Through everything, we made it. That's something we can be grateful for. So don't be a stranger. You have the freedom to go anywhere. But remember, you're a part of our Brotherhood now. You'll always have a home here. I think it might start feeling a little more like back home, with the Elders. We're going to have a lot of work to do to make things safer in Appalachia. Without Paladin Romani to counter his priorities, Knight Shin will have a plan laid out in no time. I'm going to keep doing my job. With one officer down, there's going to be a lot of slack to pick up. There's still a lot more I'd like to see out there, but right now, I need to support the Brotherhood. Don't mention it. As the resident scribe, it's my job to keep things functioning around here. Until next time.
What's up? Knight Shin is a tough man and follows the rules without any leeway. I was raised to respect authority figures, and I will continue to follow orders regardless of who they're from. I just hope that he focuses more on rebuilding society and becomes more approachable. I fear people become less accepting of the Brotherhood under his command. He's not the easiest person to get used to. See you around.
These recruits really brings me back. That spark of hope in their eyes. Maybe we can do it right this time. I'm sure it wasn't easy to fully commit to Knight Shin, severing Romani from her role and all. But a chain can't hold with a weak link. Won't lie, not many of us are looking forward to the Knight's brand of discipline. He's gonna need to start winning some trust around here, that's for sure. That said, I think he'll do what's right to keep us safe here, until we figure out what the next step is. As for Romani, I wish things went down differently. Anything but this. Laying down your life for something you believe in is admirable, but, it didn't have to be this way. You two, stay safe out there.
Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. What are we gonna do? Who's gonna handle everything? Who's gonna lead the recruits? What am I gonna do? Oh gosh. Not helping. Definitely not helping. I don't do well with really big changes. Like, for example, my boss dying. I think I need some time to process this. I'm gonna sit down.
Congratulations.
Haha, Knight Errant. That's such a cool title. Oh, I'm as convinced as ever this was the right place for me. It's sad what happened with Paladin Romani. You know, I wish she would have come around. But Knight Shin was right. And it's right that he's in charge now. The Brotherhood's gonna be strong under his watch. I know it. Ad Victoriam, Knight Errant. Oh, man. You gotta admit, that's a sweet title. But what's an errant?
Hello, brother. Sure.
Yeah, I wish no one would leave. Paladin Romani was always nice to me. Plus, it was her who brought us to Fort Atlas, and I love it here. Why didn't they both come back anyway? I thought the Brotherhood chain was unbreakable.
Died? What do you mean they died? How does that even happen? I thought the Brotherhood of Steel was unstoppable.
I think I'd rather be left alone right now.
What's up? Just what we all need. A militant asshat in charge. Obviously, you can tell I'm not Shin's biggest fan.
Yeah, that's right. 'Cause I'm his biggest fan.
At least one of us is happy about it. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm actually starting to like it here. I do miss Pierce, Sheena, and Burke, though. I hope that they're staying safe. The loss of my mother still hurts, but I know now the Brotherhood isn't solely to blame. Thanks for showing me a different perspective. See ya!
Knight Errant.
Did that
It's been an honor to
really
serve with
just happen? I knew things between the higher-ups were shaky, but to come to blows. Real, actual bullets? Paladin Romani. She was so passionate about our cause, I really believed her. It's going to be hard getting used to this.
We owe this victory to you, Knight Errant.
That's not very becoming of a knight errant. I'd even hazard to say it's leaning on insubordination. But what do I know anyway? I'm just an initiate, and it sounds like you've really done a lot for us.
Congratulations. Sorry.
Anyway, I'm gonna get back to it. See you around, knight errant.
I trust the title change didn't come as too much of a surprise. It's unorthodox. But you're an exception I had to acknowledge to prevent confusion among the other initiates. For the time being, yes. Though it's worth noting that this title doesn't have precedent. So if things were to change in the future, so could our definition. A lot of reorganization. As much as I'd like to start scouting for another transmitter today, Things around here will fall apart if we don't fill the space Romani left first. I'm feeling like there's a lot of work to do. Right. You're probably asking about the emotional strain of Romani's. It is what it is. As a soldier, I have to stand up and move on. Don't feel like it has to be the last time. The doors of Fort Atlas are open to you. Still socializing. Good work out there. The Brotherhood won't forget it. Ad Victoriam.
Haha, Knight Errant. That's such a cool title. Nope. Still training. I figure there's probably other recruits in line ahead of me, but I'm working on it. Oh, with Knight Shin in charge now, I'm gonna be drilling. I'm gonna be training. Training, drilling, maybe, all day long. Very exciting.
From here on, initiates will schedule their own armor maintenance. I simply don't have the time. Thank you for standing up for the values of the Brotherhood. I suppose I owe you a candid conversation, considering all we've been through. I knew it would be, but there's far more to it than I could have predicted. I hear from a lot more initiates than I used to. Some of them seem hesitant. I can only fault myself for that. Consulting with Scribe Valdez has been invaluable. But now, the full weight of any decision I make rests on me. It's difficult, but it keeps things in perspective. I'm going to do right by the Brotherhood mission, for you and everyone else. I used to think I would only make peace when I reported to the Elders. I still plan to do that, but I've already found my own way to atone. Standing up to Romani to uphold the Brotherhood Code was just the beginning. I will no longer make decisions out of fear of failure. I will make them out of conviction to protect, preserve, and honor. Romani was a reckless commander, a stubborn diplomat, and a traitor. She was also my closest ally. For all we disagreed upon, no one else shared my dedication to a brighter future. Not like Romani did, though she's not with us now. I will forever carry the valor and determination she impressed upon me. I don't regret what I did, but I do regret that it had to happen. Sure, I appreciate you checking in. There's still a lot of work to do, but things are beginning to even out. We are once again united in our vision and values. The part you played in making that happen cannot be understated. Thank you. Still, it's hard to believe this is how things turned out. Paladin or no, the Brotherhood will keep moving forward. They're much more organized, for one thing. I no longer have to spend time recounting supplies or tracking down rogue initiates that Romani sent out on a whim. But I will admit that I have some learning to do in terms of community and morale. Romani's presence had a vigor that I can't replace. I'd like the initiates to trust me, not just as a commander, but as someone who will lead them to a better future. I owe them that much, for the loyalty they've pledged. I don't hold the authority to promote myself. Only a Paladin or Elder can do that. Regardless, I'm still the highest-ranking officer present at Fort Atlas, and will take on all responsibilities necessary to fulfill that role.
I really thought that Knight Shin hated me. But I respect him a lot, and I really want to be a soldier he would be proud of. Paladin Romani approved my recommendation, so I wouldn't be here without her. She's so confident and determined. I could never be like that, but I'd at least like to try. It feels strange that she's not here anymore. What? Of course! I mean, I know I'm not very good at it. In fact, I'm really, really bad at it. But before the Brotherhood, I wasn't anything. And now, I have a home, a mission, a family, kind of. I mean, I know not many people like me, but they give me a reason to be better. And maybe make things just a better, I think. Thanks for asking. I had no idea it was so bad. Between the Paladin and Knight Shin, I mean. I wish I could have helped, somehow. I don't know how, but somehow. Maybe if all of us had stepped up, so they didn't have so many things to pay attention to. I don't know.
Hello, Knight. Any new deeds to add to your scroll? Sure. Honestly, I could use someone to talk to about all that's happened. I'm not even sure where to start. The fact that this all had to come at the cost of a friend's life isn't something that will ever leave me, though. I wish I could have done more. Said more. With all our talk about being a chain that binds, I'm starting to feel like there was more than just one weak link. I think all of us strained that connection. It's going to take time to heal, to learn to live with these choices we've made, and where it's led us.
Find, protect, and preserve.
Even as a scientist, I'm not sure I can see things so objectively. But there's certainly truth in needing to move on. You know, through all of this, I kept wishing that Knight Connors was still here. Having the right thing to say, the right thing to do. But I think it's time I stopped hoping for an easy solution and started being that person myself. You've been an exceptional friend through this, no matter where we ended up. I'm lucky to have you, Knight Errant. Well, I don't want to say draconian, but maybe scrupulous? I'm likely to wear out my thesaurus trying to dance around it. It's pretty damn tough, honestly. It's impressive to see him lay out a plan and stick to it, but he asks a lot of the initiates. I suspect we'll shed a few as the months go on, but there's a good chance we come out stronger for it. As for where he'll lead us in the future, only time will tell.
What can I do for you, Knight Errant? Tired, really? And sad. The good news is we're legitimate. We'll contact the Elders eventually, and Knight Shin runs things as tightly as you'd expect. With what happened to the Paladin, recruits are drifting away. They don't know the West Coast Brotherhood, or understand why the fight happened. They saw a mutiny against the only leader they've known. It's hard to hold on to trust after that. I hope we recover.
Hey, thanks for getting my family back here in one piece.
Survival doesn't get a day off.
Marcia made her choice. But she's a victim of the Brotherhood and not where our conflict lies. So long as she doesn't take up arms against us, we'll do what we can to make sure Marcia doesn't end up in the crossfire.
Yeah? Sure, what is it? It means peace, or mercy. I prefer that. It wasn't given to me. The person I used to work for, he deserved worse than death. I could have given him that. Instead, I took the necklace, his most valued possession. It's a reminder of who I am, of what I believe in. I protect my friends. I don't start the fights, but I finish them.
Living in Appalachia is like a real-life game of
Thanks for asking. The occasion wasn't a happy one, though I suppose in some ways it was. My employer was holding Pierce prisoner. I was his guard. Even in that situation, Pierce treated me like a person, not as a tool. He saw me. When Sheena arrived, we all escaped together. The rest's history. Most people judge based on appearances. They don't care to know me. The person who exists beyond their preconceptions. I have no need for male or female or anything else. I'm free.
Herschel Klein, author, reveler of life, aspiring playwright, and on certain occasions, bartender. At your service. Always with the questions about Blue Ridge. Never, hello, fine barkeep, what's your story? No one's interested in reading the latest draft of My Life at the End of the World, a Herschel Klein story, with a special foreword written by Billingsley of the Bolton Greens. Fine. The Blue Ridge Caravan Company is a caravan company. Hard as it is to believe, given its incredibly cryptic and nondescriptive name, I know. People pay us money to get things from one place to another place. If you want work, head over to the east side of the tunnel and talk to Vinny. You know them ghouls? Well, I heard the bomb's got nothing to do with it. It's just a side effect of drinking too much Nuka-Cola. Really? A dentist came through here telling me all about it. Said sugary drinks work a number on your teeth a few years, then pow! You're a ghoul! Here's a crazy one. Brahmin might have 2 heads, but only 1 brain. And it's in their udders. Seriously, Rudy told me. Speaking of Rudy, you ever ask what's in those pepperoni rolls? Human flesh. Heard him slip up and call them people-roni rolls once. I swear. Here's one I heard. We're all just living in a simulation. That's right, none of this is real. Die here, and you'll just wake up in a memory lounger somewhere in Hoboken, New Jersey. To be honest, I'm not sure which reality is worse. Thank you, thank you. I'm here all week. Rumor has it that the folks in the crater are actually astronauts that came down with that space station. But their mission is top secret. Or at least that's what one of them told me the last time they mugged me. Said he couldn't tell me what the caps were for. Highly classified. Rumors? What do I look like? Some kind of barkeep? I mean, I am, but really, do I look like one? I'm trying to keep my style a little fresh. You know that guard we got, Ares? He's got an encyclopedic knowledge of everything strange. Cryptids, aliens, killer robots. I've been working on a theory. He is an alien. His spaceship was destroyed when the bombs fell, and now he's stuck working for us just to get by. Poor guy. Must miss his home planet something awful. So, the Brotherhood of Steel, right? I heard a rumor it's all fake. Just a traveling theater troupe. They've got a different con in every town. One of my regulars said that he saw that Paladin Romani lady doing a trapeze act down in Florida. True story.
Look who's back. Did you need something else? It's good to see a friendly face and all, but this place doesn't run itself. Something I can help you with, or can I get back to it? So I heard. Well, I don't plan to make a habit of it. I'm glad we were able to lend the Brotherhood a hand in this particular instance. I've spent 2.5 decades fostering a self-sufficient, well-guarded, and valuable service. All without some jackbooted overlords looking over us. The only thing the Brotherhood can offer is telling us what we can and can't do, and try to take a slice of my pie while they're at it. And thus, I have chosen to politely decline any collaboration between our organizations. Well, I suppose I could tell you just about anything you want to know, darling. I am the owner and proprietor after all, But I'll save us both a little time and give you the white paper version. Started out as a trucking company, hauling up and down the roads of Appalachia. The Blue Ridge Parkway in particular, if the name didn't give it away. I inherited the business from my grandpappy. My dear old daddy wasn't exactly around well enough to take over himself. God rest his soul. But, being the entrepreneur I am, I didn't give in. Swapped 18-wheelers for Brahmanbacks and trucked on, so to speak. And now, here we are, serving Appalachia with safe and efficient travel and merchandise. Work? Well, now that's speaking my language, darling. I've got caravans running through Big Bend around the clock. Head over to the east side and talk with a fellow named Vinny Costa. All right, back to it then.